Go Chiefs. No, I don't know. I'm gonna start this one off
Ah.
with this. And I don't
Ooh.
you guys I don't think are gonna be on the same page as me. Because you're homers. I'm also a homer. Uh I am very close to
Oh,
being off the line of Kansas City even making the Super Bowl. I'm
off
very close to
off the
being
line.
off of that line
Off that line completely?
completely. I am very close to Kansas City will not make the Super Bowl, period. Like not even a possibility.
It's always going to be a possibility,
Yeah.
and it's going to be tougher than it has been in recent years, no doubt. But we have Pat, and our defense is playing out of its freaking mind.
Yet we're not scoring any points in the second half. We've been shut out in the last three games. We've got the lowest points per game in the second half, worse than the
Yep,
Jets,
true.
worse
It's
than
all
the
true.
Giants at
It's all true. What's
5.3,
our record?
7-3.
7-3.
Yep. Yep. You're
It's
not
like
wrong.
you're forgetting that the Eagles are also a very, very good team.
Yeah, no, I'm not forgetting this. I understand, but
Speaking of that,
we've also lost to the Broncos, who are not a very, very good team in the same fashion, getting shut out in the second half, turning the ball over. Boys, we are -5 in the turnover battle. The turnover differential, we are five under. We have had 12 turnovers in the last 5 games. 10 of them have come from Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey combined, which means that it's not another player problem as much as we want to say these receivers are causing issues by not completing plays. It's also Patrick Mahomes going out there and forcing it. It's Travis Kelsey not being focused on the game. It's the receivers dropping the ball
oh my
26
god,
times
you
in
don't
one game.
look.
It's a
Travis Kelsey
combination of
has a lot
everything.
going on off the field, but you legitimately feel like he's not focused on the game when he's playing, when he's out there.
What?
I'm never I don't feel like visually I'm seeing him take plays off, so I am not going to question his drive to be out there.
No,
He's literally getting bracketed everywhere he goes.
I'm not.
There
I'm
is
not saying that
you're
he's
hard
not out
pressed to
there.
find you're hard pressed to find a play on tape where there aren't two guys fucking mirroring everything that Travis Kelsey does.
That's all fair. That's all fair. I'm not saying he's not. There's no
And
effort,
so
right?
far that's working because nobody else can catch the damn ball. So
That yeah, and I would agree. I'm not questioning
it's
his
the quote
effort,
unquote blueprint on how to beat us.
right? Like we can sit there and we can say Sky Moore, MVS, these guys aren't showing effort. Like they're just running shit routes. They're not out there doing their job. Travis is going out there and doing his job. I'm saying there's a lack of focus because I've seen him double teamed and bracketed and still be able to high point a ball and come away with it. I've seen him be able to take the hits and hang on to the ball. And that's something that he's not doing this year. And maybe it isn't a lack of focus when he's in those motions. Maybe it's now he's 34 years old and like dude's on his last leg. And maybe he's hitting that wall like Peyton Manning. I don't know. But I can tell you that he isn't what he has been in the past. And to his own standard, this year, Travis Kelsey has not been good.
Okay,
He's
you
still about
say
he's still
all
about to
that,
walk
but what
away
are
with
his
that.
numbers right now? He's top three in all top tight end categories.
Yep. And he is
Missing
So
on
missing
he's
an
still
extra
about
game
to
than anybody else.
he is on pace if he gets 70 yards per game for the remainder of the season that he'll break 1,000 yards. But over the last 3 games, he has yet to get over 60 yards. And this is where we're left with. And I'm not saying this is Travis's fault. I'm just saying everybody on this team has a portion to play in the blame. Travis hasn't been playing well. Patrick Mahomes is forcing things and doesn't trust receivers. Justin Watson had 11 targets, and all of those were contested.
after we just said he's not going to force the ball to Justin Watson.
But it's you're right. It's 100% being forced because they're contested catches. There's not one where he's not draped. Right? He has some fantastic ability to be able to catch the ball in weird areas for a guy who wouldn't be a wide receiver 3 on most teams,
Mainly
and he
along the sidelines.
mainly along the sidelines. It's just odd, and at this point, the Chiefs are who they are. This isn't going to change, at least with the drops. If we can clean up the turnovers and we could stick to a game plan, maybe that changes. That's why I'm not completely off the wire, right? Because if we can clean up the turnovers, we can clean up the penalties, and we can at least show some effort out there from some certain individuals, then we're not necessarily out of it. But if we continue to go on the trajectory that we're going with the turnovers, with the penalties, with a lack of focus, and just blatant like fumbling of the bag, Marquez Valdez Scantling, you just can't fumble the easy stuff. And that's why I'm apprehensive on if we will even make the Super Bowl at this point. Because at this point, 11 weeks in, Chiefs are who they are.
They are who they are, but it's Pat. Anything could happen. You know that they'll figure something out. It's not going to be consistent by any means, but they'll figure something out for a little bit.
We know that they're going to figure something out. I get this. And everybody's saying, we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. Has this team, with the players who Patrick Mahomes has to play with, ever shown in the history of their careers that they're going to figure it out? Outside of Travis Kelce, who is double and triple teamed every single play. MVS has never done that. Kadarius Toney has never done that. Sky Moore has never figured it out.
Sky Moore had a touchdown catch in the Super Bowl.
Kadarius Toney had a touchdown catch in the Super Bowl.
Blind squirrel gets it right twice a day. Like, they're not getting it right again.
They can get it. They can get it right in this playoff run too. There's no doubt in my mind that this team can throw something together. And you want to say that we're not going to get better on our drops. We're not going to get better at catching the football. If that is the case, then yeah, we're not going to make it to the Super Bowl. I think that's the
what
one
has
thing
shown
that
you that they will fix it, because this isn't a new problem, right? We've had this problem since
first in drops last year.
No, but I'm saying this year. Last year's completely irrelevant to where we are right now. In week 1 to where we are now, there's been no improvement. Actually, it's gotten worse. We dropped the ball. There were 26 drop passes.
Asinine. It's like you're at the point now where these coaches better be in practice fucking with the football shooter thing, making them catch the football that's like they're standing like 5-10 yards away. Like the receivers should only be working on goddamn catch drills for like the first half of practice.
It's not only catching though, it's route running as well. Like multiple times last night, you saw Justin Watson run on the wrong route and VS run the wrong route. Like it comes down to wide receiver coach.
I get that too, but as far as like their skill of route running, I don't think that's going to get much improved over the course of the season. But like you can definitely improve on focusing and catching the ball. That's fundamentals,
that's valid.
And you can fucking drill fundamentals, and you should be still in the NFL.
That's valid. I don't want to mix that up. That's valid. They should be able to get better, and you're right. It's totally possible that they could. But let's put this into perspective. It hasn't gotten better from week 1 to where we are now. In fact, yesterday, 26 drop passes was the most that we've had in the season. So undoubtedly, it's gotten worse. Not only that, the guys just came off of 12 days of rest. 12 days of rest where you can focus, where you can work on the chemistry, where you can work on your craft. And it got worse. There is nothing that anyone on this team has shown us that they can improve in this area. Not one single individual.
Athletes, these are NFL coaches. Like things can change like that. I think you're being a little bit too harsh on guys.
He comes out hard when we lose, man.
You can say too harsh. Listen, you pay a guy $11 million. He's the third highest on the cap.
We might lose anyways. We lost to the reigning NFC champs, the team we just beat in the Super Bowl by 3 damn points. We lost to them by what's the 4.
And these are the type of games that we're going to have to play in the playoffs. These are the type of games we've got. One of the top 5 hardest schedules going into the final portion of the season.
We can find a way to win 1 possession games in the playoffs.
Yeah, don't turn the ball over 2 times, kick 2 field goals, and then we win by 2. But like, if this chair was a bicycle, it'd have pedals. It doesn't, so it's not.
Just call me old homie.
That's how we are.
Homer. Patrick Mahomes for MVP.
Patrick Mahomes isn't even up for
Still.
MVP anymore. He dropped himself. I was thinking about that today
He dropped himself
on the road from work. I'm just saying he's most likely no longer in the MVP conversation. Just simply because
if a
of
rookie wins it over Pat Mahomes.
just because of how bad this team is, man. Just how bad this
It's not
team
his
is.
fault. And if you take his ass off of it, we're shit.
Oh, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I'm just saying
we're the Bears.
Yeah, and right now we're the Bills.
Or
with the amount of turnovers that we have.
We might be the Steelers, but with a shittier record because no offense and the defense is just carrying them through everything.
You're not wrong. The other thing I will mention, because there were quite a few things that I really did I was very happy about. And I think we had talked about them
and
quite a
bit.
bit.
I mentioned defense. Can we talk about what went right?
Yeah,
well, I mean, we'll get to defense in a minute because these are a couple things that we all talked about that the Chiefs needed to do. More motion, more pre-snap motion in the first half.
Oh goodness,
there was motion galore. It was from one side of the tackle to the other side of the tackle. I mean, we could see exactly what was going on. We were able to manufacture some of that spacing issue that we were talking about in route running. And on top of that, we ran the damn ball.
Pacheco we had what 168 yards on the top ranked run defense in the league. 121 in the first half.
Pacheco had 81 yards in the first half. He had 8 yards in the second.
And then we got real one fucking dimensional in the second half. But
go figure.
Talked about that. But yeah, I was very happy with the way that we ran the ball. That was my key to the game is at least 15 carries.
19.
Didn't fucking matter.
First game we've lost when he's had more than 12 carries.
Yeah. It's crazy.
My key to the game came alive as well. Great line play. Who would have thought it? 5 sacks in the first half. Unfortunately, 0 in the second half. So, I mean, they came alive in the first half. They weren't getting home in the second.
Boys they were gassed. What do you mean they weren't getting home? They were gassed. They were on the field 75+% of the time. You're not going to get home when you're doing is running a marathon.
We won the time of possession. It was 32-27.
Because we had a massive amount of time of possession in the first half. It carried over. If you look at time of possession from first half to second half, we barely had any time of possession in the second half, comparatively.
That's just how it goes. Whenever you get penalties on your tackles every damn drive.
And that's part of the problem is like this defense was outstanding. There's no question about it. We sack on top of sack, pressure on top of pressure. Brent McDuffie is out there being the best cornerback in the league. Brian Cook is showing out.
Ain't too far behind. He shadowed A.J. Brown and only left him with 1 catch.
L'Jarius Sneed has been balling all year. Not too many dudes, and he's been shadowing all year. Not too many dudes have been able to get nobody's been able to get the best of him.
Shefty called him elite.
He is elite.
He's getting
that bag. Fortunately, it's not going to be from us, but unless we can cut MVS, save $12 million.
We don't pay DBs.
Okay, Shefty did not mean to call him elite. L'Jarius Sneed's agent texted him and said, "Hey, these are his numbers. Call him elite." That's what happened.
Shefty mentioned.
Adam Schefter is the new Pro Football Focus PFF.
He's getting there.
That way, he's not legally allowed to bet anymore. Keep the defense off the field as much as possible. Let those guys get their rest. There are things that the Chiefs can do to sway us back over. And due to injuries and some things, the second half of the schedule isn't as scary as it looked prior to those injuries happening. There are things that we can do. It's very tough. I don't expect the drops to get better. There's nothing that I've seen that will show me that that's going to happen. The receivers aren't professional enough to do so. And somebody's going to have to step up. I'm not going to
say my expectations in that area are super, super high, but I at least have some hope, man. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be just Debbie Downer on the reigning Super Bowl champions and the crew that Pat Mahomes knows that he can win with.
Here's the hope that we have. Richie James, who has a completion rate of 81, 82%, can be activated and elevated from the IR. Make him wide receiver number 2 and make Richie Rice.
Amir Smith Marset back right now.
I do so bad. Trade him from the Panthers. But don't forget, we got a guy who's a rookie who deserves to be number 1 because of the effort that he puts out there, because you can see that he tries. And even if he has a drop here or there, it doesn't affect him.
That was my one big moment of the game. Rashee Rice dropping Darius Slay.
That was great.
He broke his ankles bad.
It was great. Yet he's still only garnering 57% of the offensive snaps. And the coaches, all the coaches, Matt Nagy, I think Embry, the wide receiver coach, stepped back up. They kind of talked about it and said in the press conference today, we've got a plethora of wide receivers and it's hard to determine who's going to be where, and it's changing every single week. BS. You know who you have at this point.
Yeah.
We're going into week 12. You know MVS isn't going to catch the ball. You know he's not going to run routes. You got Sky Moore. You know he's not even going to get a target because he can't run a route. Justin Watson has been our most reliable and still shouldn't be.
Did freaking Carey touch the field last night? What's going on with McCole Hardman?
He had he got injured. He got injured last night. He had 12 offensive snaps. And that's why he was taken off of punt return is due to the injury, which is why Kadarius Toney was back there a lot. And you know what?
He got knocked up too.
2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row that Kadarius Toney, when given the opportunity, has at least shown a spark. He's shown effort when he's gotten out there. So you know what? You got 3 guys right there. Get Richie James off IR. Put Rashee at the number 1 snap count for receivers and start integrating Kadarius Toney in more. I don't care. Those 3 guys that have shown effort.
Though. Out of the backfield was amazing.
Dude, effort. That's all we're asking for. I know you're not going to convert 100% of the time. I'm not asking for that. If you're going out there and showing effort, the plays are going to come. You're not going to drop the ball because you're paying attention to what you're doing. You're focusing. You're a professional. This is what we're asking of you. If you're not going to do that, sit on the bench. MVS, Sky Moore, Justin Watson. You've got enough snaps. Let these other guys come in now. You can't do your job.
Can we go ahead and talk about how chonky Clyde got? He looked pretty thick out there.
You really want to bring that up? Huh?
I do, man. I was shocked by that.
Boy.
You said it, and I had seen it when he first came out on the field, and I was like, "Who's that?" And you go, "Clyde is looking thick today," and I go, "Damn, I thought that was Eddie Lacy." The guy's back in the league. And you know what? He ran hard. He ran hard. It's still let Clyde touch the ball and your drive is going to end because it's the way it always goes.
But damn it, he ran hard.
He ran hard. He gave the effort.
Do you guys think there's going to be any like wide receiver cuts going on throughout the rest of the year that we could possibly be in on?
That's a good question. I think we could see players like Amir Marset.
Because after his punt return, you think they're going to cut him?
I mean, he has been pretty vocal about how upset he's been with the team on not playing him on offensive possessions and just keeping him to special teams. He's kind of quieted down in the last week, but the previous 2 weeks he was pretty vocal about it. I wouldn't be surprised if that trend kicks back up, that it happens, but for the most part, I don't really see anybody who can be cut from another team and clear waivers or make it to us on waivers. The other thing that you have to think about is this offense is difficult to learn. It's because that's what whatever propaganda that Andy Reid likes to throw out there. And so no matter who we bring in, unless it's a A1 type of receiver, they're not playing. Unless D-Hop gets cut somehow, comes here.
Josh Gordon.
think it would have been hard to
Kelvin
integrate him on
Benjamin.
any team.